And this hangout is live. Hello, everyone. It is 5 o'clock in California. We're ready to get the show on the road. We've got a small but energetic crowd here. We have Bake Chad. I don't know if Bake Chad is new, someone playing with their name, or hopefully new and here on purpose.
So Bake Chad has been with us since about 3 o'clock this afternoon. I'm not sure he's actually here.
Or she.
Maybe just in spirit. Or she, yes.
We don't know. Well, Bake Chat, I hope you're here on purpose. We've got Keel Tulsa. We've got, John sneaks in under the wire at the last minute with NASA Nut. We got Sandy and Steve. Not a big crowd. But hey, wait a minute. Where did Kevin go? You said he was here.
He's been in and out. It's almost like he's been having trouble with his connection.
Oh, Bake Chat is here, he says. He or she.
Bake Chat is here.
Hey, Big Chad, what's your real name so we can become officially acquainted?
There's Rose.
Rose. Can't get started without Rose. How you doing today, Rose? You've been sweet about... Oh, it's Chad.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, I could not have cracked the code on that one. No, nice to meet you. Usually not that dense. Well, yeah, I am. All right, we are live on Alpha Geek Radio. Where is my... Mute my phone. Let's do a little test recording here. Here we go. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com. All right. Okay, here we go. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com. All right.
Good here.
Playback is good. We are check. Oh, yeah. Yay, you listen to the podcast regularly. It's always so funny. I feel like I already know everybody because I've met so many people, but then if I look at the numbers, I realize I know hardly anybody that listens, percentage-wise. So that's kind of funny. Yeah, watch out, Chad. You're getting sucked into the madness. This is how it starts. All right, I am going to start recording here. All right, save. Here we go. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Macintosh bias. Today is Sunday, August 28th, 2016, and this is show number 590. Man, we're getting close to 600 episodes. I think, what does the sign behind me say in the live show? I'm looking at it here. It was 400 shows the last time George made me a poster. So we're coming up on 600, George. He's made me some beautiful posters over the years. So to commemorate our bigger events, that's been fun. Well, most of you have probably already heard about the important security update that came out for iOS this week. But just in case some of you haven't, I wanted to give you a little bit of the detail behind it to make sure everybody updates to iOS 9.3.5 absolutely as soon as possible. I don't have Bart here, but this one can't wait a week for him to tell you about it. Well, three significant bugs were discovered in iOS and used in conjunction. They basically allow the attacker to completely own your phone. The first bug allows a maliciously crafted website to lead to arbitrary code execution. You know how we love that one. Well, the second bug allows an application to be used to disclose kernel memory. Finally, the third bug, combined with the first two, allows an application to execute arbitrary code with kernel privileges, meaning at the absolute lowest level. What do you...
You didn't need to stop.
Well, I don't know why
you're asking for the grinder.
Oh, okay. I'm going to start over. If you walk in here, I assume there's a problem.
No problem. There it is. It's not quite visible.
Yeah, I don't know why the grinder... Can you flip up the handle so it's visible there? I mean, this is important stuff. Chad can't... Tesla is definitely snoozing in her comfy bed.
There. Maybe that's a little easier.
Yeah, that's where I had it before. There you go. Somebody took that down. I think Rocio did. Yes, it's visible right here. All right. We will try this again. All my spontaneity talking about George and the posters is ruined. All right, here we go. And Chad, this is exactly what it's like every week, is silly things like this. Cats walking around, dogs, it's meat grinders, everything. All right, here we go. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Macintosh bias. Today is Sunday, August 28th, 2016, and this is show number 590. We're getting pretty close to 600 here. And let's see, I'm doing the live show right now, and I have a poster behind me from George from Tulsa that says 400 episodes. He's done posters from time to time. It's pretty cool. It's kind of fun that we can have these for the commemorate the bigger show releases. Well, I'm sure most of you have already heard about the important security update that came out for iOS this week, but just in case someone hadn't heard of it, I want to make sure you get a little bit of the detail behind it to make sure everybody updates to 9.3.5 absolutely as soon as you can. I don't have Bart here this week, but this one can't wait a week for him to tell you about it. 3 significant bugs were discovered in iOS, and they were used in conjunction basically to allow attackers to own your phone. The first bug allows a maliciously crafted website to lead to arbitrary code execution. The second bug allows an application to be used to disclose kernel memory. Finally, the third bug, combined with the first 2, allows an application to execute arbitrary code with kernel privileges. In other words, at the absolute lowest level, they can own you. As the story at Naked Security explains, you can imagine how these 3 vulnerabilities could be combined into a serious exploit where visiting a booby-trapped website might not only infect you with user-level malware, but also go on from there to promote itself to gain kernel-level superpowers. So this is already out in the wild. We know it's being used. So this is a really good time to take seriously the update policy. Please do not wait until your iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch tell you to update. In my case, it never tells me to update. Go into settings, go to general and software update and agree to whatever updates are available. And I know, you just had to do this a few days ago, but make sure you got the 9.3.5 update because there were 2 very recent updates before that. And also send a note to your non-tech savvy friends and family. This one is worth a little bit of extra effort. Well, I'm going to hand the microphone over to Stephen Getz from Canada for a very quick review.
Well, Steve Davidson rejoined us after a long time.
Steve Davidson, that has been a long time. How you doing, Steve? Let's see, make sure we start at the right spot there.
He says he's been under a rock, so I think he emerged.
That's good. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast. All right, where's Stephen? We had our grandchild over, and he came with a bunch of family members, and so I didn't get too much done this week. And Stephen jumped in with a review for me, even though he was super busy. He came through for me. Let me add a track here. We're going to put him right below me. Wait, where's his track? All right, I think he's going to need to be boosted a bit. Not too bad, not too bad. Let's raise it. Whoop. Yeah, I think that's going to be good. We'll go to the other end. Oh, it raised it. There we go. All right, let's hear how that gap sounds for a very quick review.
Hi, I'm Steven. I'd like to review the Amazon Basics 62-inch aluminum ball head tripod. Amazon started their Basics line of products in 2009. It included things like cables, batteries, etc. I've been very happy with the Amazon Basics products I have purchased in the past, a USB 3.0 hub and HDMI cables.
Okay, I just heard a little bit of get rid of that. Silence. There's a thing called silence. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Actually, I'll just cut that then.
Batteries, etc. I've been very happy with the Amazon Basics products I have purchased in the past.
All right, it's a $50 tripod. You gotta love $50, right? All right, here we go. Well, thanks, Stephen. That sounds like a great tripod for a great price. You gotta love $50. Well, I did a search on Amazon in the United States store for this tripod, and unfortunately, they don't offer it there. They've got a real inexpensive, like a $23 tripod in Amazon Basics, and then a almost $100 one that's carbon fiber. But they don't have the exact one that Stephen likes in the Amazon US store. However, we do have Canadians who can buy it from our Amazon affiliate link for Canada. And so a link to the show in the show notes is to the Amazon affiliate one. It's also available in the UK. So I put that link in, and it's available in the German the German Amazon store as well. So those links are all in there. Remember, if you shop at Amazon anyway, starting at podfeed.com and clicking on the Amazon image on the left-hand side will send a small percentage of your purchase back to help keep the show going.
And Lil Buka joined us again.
All right. We had an extensive discussion over whether it was Buka or Buka. I think it's Buka.
I remember Buka, but he or she can remind us. Oh, it's James. So
James.
So it's that doesn't tell us how to pronounce it.
$50.
But we can say he at least. I believe.
$50.
Well, thanks, Stephen. Wait, I'm trying to listen. Hang on just a second, Steve.
Go ahead.
Spend $50.
Well, thanks, Stephen. That sounds like oh, look at that. I'm right, Steve.
All right. We'll give it to you this time. I better put that in our little cheat sheet.
Yep. All right. Okay, let's go on the. Okay, we've got a lot. I ended up getting a lot done today. I was worried. Okay. Okay, she's starting to snore. Tessa, tell me if you guys can hear her snoring. Okay.
How about some breathe right strips?
Yeah, really. All right. James, that's an odd way to pronounce Bucka. Nice, John. All right, here we go. Oh, actually, hang on just a second. I saw a couple of weird typos in the beginning of what I wrote there. Just behind it, make sure everything updates. Don't have part here. 3 bugs. 3 bugs, significant bugs is what I wrote. First bug, 2 lead drivers. The second bug, last application to be used. There it is. All right. Let's do, what are we doing first? We're doing, don't let your activity data be held hostage. Oh, I almost forgot to talk about chit chat. Let me come back. Hang on just a second. All right, we'll do it here. What the heck? No, I don't want to print. Feet. Where's my introduction here? There we go. All right, I'll just use this. Well, this week on Chit Chat Across the Pond, we had Dr. Marianne Gary back again by popular demand. If you'll remember, she's a professor of psychology at Victoria University of Wellington. This time, she came to talk to us about how to interpret studies you hear about in the news. And I'm using news in quotes here, and studies in quotes here, too. So, you hear things like flossing is bad for you, hormone replacement therapy causes cancer, Mediterranean diet lowers cholesterol. Dr. Gary explains how to research these claims and what to look for in terms of scientific process versus drawing correlations from existing data. As always, it was fascinating and I learned a lot. So remember, go check out Chit Chat Across the Pond. You can get to it at podfeed.com or just search for it in your podcatcher of choice. Well, I think that Apple has done a terrific job getting us healthier with the Apple Watch and the iPhone. But it's pretty much a miracle that any of us have figured out how to use it. Just to start a workout is often 6 separate steps of tapping and swiping and scrolling. But that's not actually the hard part. For me, the hardest part has been trying to unravel the mysteries of getting data to show up about my exercise. I've started the write-up for this article. I think I started at 4 separate times. I kept walking away from it because I realized that I didn't fundamentally understand how to get the data to move around within your phone and your watch. I'm hoping that I've finally cracked the code, but I fully expect one or more of you to write to me and say, "No, dummy, this is how it works." I'm going to take a crack at it anyway, so let's walk through this. The iPhone has a motion coprocessor in it, the function of which is to collect sensor data from integrated accelerometers, gyroscopes, and the GPS. Armed with only an iPhone, you can track your health and fitness. But let's not do the easy way. Let's throw the Apple Watch into the mix because it becomes so much more entertaining to explain. I better start with an end goal here, or some might call it a problem to be solved. Trademark Allison Sheridan. My goal is to have an app or apps on my iPhone that will collect metrics of my activity and display them in a graphical way. On the Fitbit app, I used to get a nice graph of the week or month's step count with a line showing my goal, so I could see how often I was beating my goal and by how much. So I want that kind of information for the active calories and my step count as a minimum. You might be saying, well, Allison, the health app does all of that for you. Technically, the health app does show a graph, but it's awful. You can't tell what your goal is or how many steps you've taken. For example, for me, it shows a line at 25,000 steps, and even I don't go that far most days, and that's at the top, and a line of 5,000 steps at the bottom, and in between is a bunch of bars with no scale at all. It's pretty much a useless graph all around. I mentioned before that Don McAllister had told me about an app called Activity Plus Plus that will show in really nice circles how you're doing on the 3 Apple rings: active calories burned, minutes of exercise, and stand goals. It also shows you how many days you've been on a streak. So for me, it was showing 77 days of exercise of 30 minutes a day. And now, because of the inspiration I talked about last week, I'm actually, when I wrote this, I was at 47 days for all 3 rings. I'm now over 50 days in a row because of Bart's inspiration. But while talking to Bart, I complained about not being able to see my step count. Actually, that's not what I meant to say. See. But all right, did I miss anything? Contact lens moved. There we go. Thank you. But while I was talking about Activity Plus Plus, I complained about not being able to see my step count. Luckily, Alastair Smith from plusplusapps.com caught wind of what I was saying and pointed out that the developer, David Smith, also had an app called Pedometer Plus Plus. The irony is that I had that app on my phone. I didn't know it because once it's downloaded, it's called Pedometer, not Pedometer Plus Plus on iOS, which I think is kind of a mistake because it's hard to recommend to people. Anyway, I fired it up and it showed no data. So here's the point of the article. This took me a while to get to the point, didn't it? How do you get an app to be able to see the data from your watch, but not double count any iPhone movement? There's a lot of moving pieces to this puzzle, which is why I started by saying I can't believe anybody has figured this out. The Apple Watch talks to the iPhone. The iPhone has several apps in this plot. First, the Activity app has one job, and that's to report what it learned from the Apple Watch about your activity: active calories, steps, stand, and exercise. The Apple Watch app, which you would think might control what the watch tells the phone, but as far as I can tell, it's just a red herring and provides no value to this entire exercise conversation. You can follow some things in there that look like they're going to talk about activity, but you never end up anywhere good. And finally, there's the great and powerful Health app. The Health app is the aggregator of everything. It takes motion data from the phone and the watch, and it controls what access third-party apps have to read and write health data. Now, in my case, I don't really want any more data written to the Health app. I want to get data out of the Health app and into my third-party apps. Here's the plot twist. The Health app can only grant access to those apps that ask for it. You can't start at the Health app and push data towards an app. So let's walk through an example using Pedometer Plus Plus. When I first opened Pedometer Plus Plus, it came up with a screen that said, oops, and explained that in order for it to collect step counts, it needed to be given permission from the phone settings. As far as I could figure out through exhaustive experimentation, going to settings, privacy, I was unable to turn it on from there, even though that's where they told you to go. But inside Pedometer Plus Plus, I tapped on the gear and I saw a switch that said merge Apple Watch data. It says that it can intelligently merge motion data from your iPhone and Apple Watch. Now that's pretty cool. I didn't know anybody could do that. Anyway, I turned that switch on and a window popped up telling me that Pedometer, without the plus plus, wanted access to my health data. That's what I've been looking for. That's what you need. You need the app to go ask Health for permission. So now this is when it gets interesting. In here, you can allow Pedometer to write, which again, I don't want it to do, but if you scroll down, you can also allow it to read your active energy, heart rate, steps, walking, and running distance, and workouts. I flipped all of those switches on, and then I hit allow in the upper right. I was immediately rewarded with a beautiful graph showing me my steps As when I wrote this, I only had 8124 steps so far, and I needed to go on my second walk. It showed I'd only gone 3.7 miles, but also it had nice green bars showing that I had passed my 16,000 steps per day goal for the earlier part of the week. If your third-party app does not have a switch about merging Apple Watch data intelligently with your iPhone's data, I highly suggest that you go into settings on the iPhone, select privacy, motion and fitness, and turn off fitness tracking. This is a trick that Bart showed me that tells Health not to collect any data at all from the phone so that the Apple Watch alone gets to supply the data. Obviously, if you don't want to have an Apple Watch, you don't want to do this, but you might want to just have the Apple Watch doing all the work. A while back, the SMR podcast guys did a fitness challenge, and they used Microsoft Health to collect the step metrics. For some reason, I was getting fewer steps recorded to the Pedometer Plus Plus app than showed in the Activity app. That is wrong. That is the wrong app. Oh, dear. Okay, I need to fix that. It was not Pedometer Plus Plus in that plot. A while back, the SMR... Okay, I think I'll start with a while back. I'm finding mistakes in here, Steve. You sure you checked this?
Heaven forbid. Wait, which one is this? I haven't been listening, actually. Completely tuned you out.
Nice. I really appreciate that.
We've been having a conversation.
Have I missed anything? Booker T. Washington. What are you people talking about?
So we're talking about Bucka's grandfather, who was a jazz singer, pretty well known, who went by Bukka White. Bukka White.
Oh. Hence the name.
Hence the name. He's got a Wikipedia page, and this guy looks like he had some chops.
Neato. All right, I got to read this here. That was exactly the opposite I wanted from this to do. Send a blog. We open it. This was a hard article to write. It was really... Oh, blues singer, not jazz, Steve.
Oh, I stand corrected. Blues.
No, you sit corrected. Ha. Get my joke? You sit corrected. I don't think Steve listens to me at all.
I sit corrected.
That's what I'm looking for. All right, here we go. Now it's corrected. You need a flow chart? Oh, do I? Do I need a flow chart? Oh, you mean for this? I actually did start drawing a flow chart. I started using draw.io to do a flow chart, and I still couldn't figure it out. It's really a mess. All right, here we go. A while back, the SMR podcast guys did a fitness challenge, and they used Microsoft Health to collect the step metrics. For some reason, I was getting far fewer steps recorded by the Microsoft Health app than showed in the Activity app. The same thing happened when Pat Dengler and I tried to use the Argus app to compare step counts. Oddly, both of these apps got the same wrong number. I opened a case with Apple and for weeks pestered them about it, trying to find a solution. The answer was, and they didn't figure this out, that neither of these apps had permission to read my Apple Watch data, and they never asked for it, so they were only getting my iPhone's data. I wish Apple had been the one to figure it out, but it wasn't. It was the experiments Bart and I did with turning off fitness tracking from the watch. So if your app doesn't ask for permission and access from the watch, go out and find a new app. Activity Plus Plus combined with Pedometer Plus Plus gives me everything I wanted, but it would be swell if the two apps were combined.
So James asking, since it's a holiday next week, will we be doing a live show? I assume we will be.
I don't see any reason why not. Oh, all the people. Yeah, Denise's friend, what's her name? In the, she might not be in the U.S. Who's Denise's friend that says she can't, her time zone's way different. It's only a U.S. holiday. Yeah, we'll be here. Let's see, what did I say there? The two apps were combined. But I'm definitely giving them both 2 thumbs up because they're completely and gloriously accessible to the blind. Go check out Activity++ and Pedometer++ over at plusapps.com. It's kind of a weak little ending. See how that gap worked out. We're combined. But I'm definitely giving them both. I think I'd like that a little tighter. Slide you over. Uh-oh. Not that far. All right. It'd be swell if the two apps were combined. But I'm definitely giving them both 2 thumbs up because they're completely and gloriously accessible to the blind. Go check out Activity++ and Pedometer++. So I felt bad. I originally said that Activity++ was not accessible, and I don't know why I thought that. I went back in, and it's like fabulous. Save. I think I need to refresh that one, make sure that one goes up with those corrections. All right. What do we got next? All right. Preview. So, oh, this bandwidth test stuff is good. This is going to be fun. I feel like I've been talking a long time already, but I'm only at 13 minutes. So I'm going to send you guys a couple of links here because this will be more fun for you guys if you can see these. Let's see. Let me do this. Yeah. Is that the big one? Yeah. Okay. This is the network diagram, or the diagram I made showing the speeds around my house and the results. And then if you want to see all of the tests that we ran, this is should be a readable, read-only Google Doc showing all the results. But Steve and I went wild testing our network. It was so much fun. All right, here we go. Back in April, I told you about the new router I bought, the Nighthawk X8 from Netgear. I bought this router for 2 reasons. I already had an Apple Airport Extreme 802.11 AC router, the one with the beam-forming antennas, but after talking to Bart about how insecure the Internet of Things devices are, I wanted to run 2 parallel networks. The second reason I wanted it is because it sounded really cool. Just a few weeks ago, Denise Crown did a review of the same router for us. She's a serious network nerd. She's got a master's degree in telecom, for crying out loud, so I really liked hearing her perspective about it. One thing neither of us did, even though we're scientists supposedly, was any kind of network speed test to see whether A, we needed this cool router, and B, whether the new router actually improved speeds or reduced dead spots in our homes. We had both been influenced by Dave Hamilton of the Mac Geek Gab, where he talks a lot about routers. I reached out to Dave and I asked him what he uses to check network speeds. I knew that while running speedtest.net was a relatively good way to test your internet speeds, it wasn't a good way to test the speed of your internal network from you to the router. Since the speed test was going through the internet and back, it had far too many variables involved. Before we dig into the test, let's review the devices. The Airport Extreme is the current model, which has internal beamforming antennas like I mentioned. It's only a dual band router with one radio for 2.4 gigahertz and another for 5 gigahertz. The Nighthawk X8 is a tri-band router with 2 5 gigahertz radios and one for 2.4 gigahertz. By having 2 5 gigahertz radio, the Nighthawk can send and receive at the same time. It also sports 4 internal antennas and 4 active external antennas. Well, that all sounds swell, but at 1.7 times as much money for the Nighthawk X8 over the Airport Extreme, let's see how they perform relative to each other in real-world testing. Dave recommended a command line tool called iPerf, I-P-E-R-F. It tests point-to-point inside your network. He pointed me at 2 great articles on the Mac Observer by Jim Tanis. The articles tell you how to first install Homebrew, which is an open source package management system, and from there it tells you how to install iPerf. Now this all sounds super intimidating because it's at the command line, but it's a matter of copy and pasting just a couple of commands into your terminal and you're in business. Of course, you should always copy terminal commands to a plain text editor first and then paste them into the terminal from there. I forgot to do that, but you should be smarter than me. I only remembered when I started writing this up. Now, we know TMO is a site above reproach, but you never know when somebody's been hacked or man-in-the-middle thing. I don't know. Always just copy and paste terminal commands so that you're sure they're clean. You install iPerf on one computer that you're going to hardwire to the Ethernet port of your router. That computer is going to become the iPerf server. Make sure you turn off Wi-Fi so you're sure it's using Ethernet. You install iPerf on a second wireless computer that you will use to wander about the house, and that's going to be the iPerf client. Now, the last thing you do is you note the IP address of the server machine. Once both computers are on the same network, the server on Ethernet and the client on wireless, you run the simple command iPerf -S on the server. On the client, you run the command iPerf -C for client, and then you follow that with the IP address of the server. As soon as you enter that command on the client side, iPerf runs 10 consecutive tests of the network in 1-second intervals. iPerf displays the bandwidth speed for each test and the average of the 10 tests in megabits per second. It's kind of cool that it actually displays the results on the client and on the server, and that's going to become important later in this story. Well, early on in my testing, I fantasized about comparing the 2.4 gigahertz speed along with the 5 gigahertz, but it was too much data. So I simplified this to just the 5 gigahertz network of both the Nighthawk X8 and the Airport Extreme. I created a Google Docs spreadsheet to collect the data. This is also going to become an important bit of my testing process. When I started on this adventure, I figured I'd just wander around the house, test a network, go back to the server, switch to the other router, and do it again. Unfortunately, I noticed right away that there was a fair amount of variability in the results of my testing. Steve is an electrical engineer who worked in antenna design and signal processing, so I pinged him. See what I did there? Anyway, I pinged him for advice. He explained that the 5 gigahertz band is much more susceptible to things like location, the rotation of the laptop itself, and even how I was located with respect to it. The 2.4 gigahertz band would be less susceptible to that. The only way to reduce these variables was to have the laptop be completely stationary and have me sit as still as possible in one location, test one network, and then test the other network. Well, to do that, I couldn't very well be dashing back and forth and moving my arms around to type the results. Steve became my able assistant to sit at the iPerf server and swap out the Ethernet cable to switch routers and record the results. That's why it was important that the results show on both of them. I have to initiate it on the client side, but it was a simple matter of hitting the up arrow and then hitting enter to run the test again. Now, having a Google Doc meant that either one of us could type those results. If he was watching, if he was doing the typing, I could still watch the Google Doc real time and see that it was working. I should mention that both the server and the client show those results, like I said, and it was great that we were able to both see what was going on. We ran a few tests and we still saw a fair amount of variability. So we decided that I would run each test 5 times, allowing us to average 50 results for each location and for each router. We tested 10 locations, so we actually ran 1,000 tests on the 2 routers combined. I'd say that should be enough to get some clean data, right? Before I give you the answer, you've all read at the bottom line anyway if you're at the blog, and you fast forward it if you're listening, but it's fun to try to tease you along. I do want to make one observation. The Airport Extreme, even on 5 gigahertz, showed a lot more variability, even with a run of 10 tests by iPerf. In one test, for example, with the client about 4 feet away from the Airport Extreme, the speeds went from a high of 176 megabits per second to a low of 0. I was in the same room. I mean, it's on my desk. I was right next to it. It was not uncommon at all to see variability of 100% or more within a given run of 10 tests. Well, I thought it might be useful if you could see the results of our testing overlaid on a simple diagram of our house. It was clear from our results immediately that proximity to the router mattered a lot, but we could have all guessed that. I do the layout of our house using my new favorite draw.io that I've talked about recently. It's pretty crude, but it reasonably represents the location of the routers, the walls, and where in each room I was sitting when I took the measurements. In each location where I took a measurement, I've shown the speed in megabits per second with a little Wi-Fi symbol above them. If you look at this diagram, you'll see NH, that's the Netgear Nighthawk X8, and APE is the Airport Extreme. While the 2 routers are physically located upstairs as shown, for reference, I also showed their location on the lower floor with a dotted line around each one so you can ponder what effect the router's location might have had on the measurements through the floor and the walls. Overall, the Nighthawk X8 beat the Airport Extreme in 9 out of 10 locations. In the one location where the Airport Extreme was faster, the Nighthawk X8 was 86% of its speed, so almost as fast. However, in the other locations, the Nighthawk X8 beat the Airport Extreme by anywhere from 1.3 times as fast to 12.6 times as fast. So sitting right next to the Nighthawk was where it was 12.6 times as fast. Oddly enough, the Nighthawk X8 was twice as fast as the Airport Extreme in the test I did sitting right next to the airport. On average, of the 500 tests on each device, the Nighthawk X8 was 2.7 times as fast as the Airport Extreme. Now, the current Airport Extreme costs $200, where the Netgear Nighthawk X8 costs $350. So for 1.7 times the cost, you get a router that's 2.7 times as fast. I created a viewable link to the Google Doc with all of the results if you want to go look at them. It was great fun, and if anybody else wants to try this and needs some help, let me know. Steve and I had a blast doing it. Whew. What's your hypothesis for the difference? Oh, no, by the specs, they shouldn't be closer at all, Steve. One of the things I said at the beginning, I'm talking to Steve Davidson now, is it's a dual band 5 gigahertz. So it's send and receive at the same time. It's got active antennas. So if you look at the picture of it, it's actually got transmitter, or it's got what does it have at the end of the antenna, Steve? It's got amplifiers.
So this would be on receive. These are little preamps that help reduce the noise figure on the receive signal.
Yeah, so that should matter too, right?
Oh yeah, it helps sensitivity. Yes.
So by the specs, I did not expect it. I hoped it was going to be a lot faster.
Yes, LNA, that's another way to put it, low noise amp.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of fun to have validated that it was so much faster. I mean, it's crazy faster. So I am reaching out right now with my hand. I'm about 6 inches from touching the Airport Extreme, and right here is where I had the laptop, and that's where the Nighthawk was twice as fast, and it's 2 rooms away through 2 walls.
So George, you can probably answer this. He said he thought that the X8 had triple band. Do you want to explain that?
Well, it is a tri-band router, but that means the one of those bands is the 2.4 gigahertz band. So it's got 2 5s and a 2.4.
Right.
And you'll see that when I saw the speed of it, when I was sitting in front of it, I told Steve, I was afraid I was going to get some sort of, amplification disease in my brain from sitting that close to it. But in my original review of it, I talked about the way they name these things. I find it annoying the way they name them. They add all the speeds of all the bands together and call it that speed. I think it's like an 8500 is another name for the Netgear's, the full name. So uses tri-band for throughput. Not quite sure what that means. Yeah, it's got support for MU-MIMO, not just MIMO. It's got support for MU-MIMO, but I don't think that's in it yet. I was rereading the specs, and I think it says that it's going to have that later, but that's not in it yet. It's because I'm not sure that's actually available. Okay, this next one's hilarious. So here's the picture that goes. Oh no, I can't link to that, can I? Oh, I can do it the other way. Hang on. We'll get some wind noise in here. Let's see, here's my file. So here's the picture that goes with, actually, hey, where's Dan? I don't think Dan's missed a show in a long time. VA3 ETS. Let's see, it's like a single lane highway at 55 versus a dual lane would be 110. I didn't cause the wind, I promise. All right. I don't know whether it's twice as fast. It can do both at the same time. I think that's the main thing. So if you were 2 people, like somebody was streaming and you were uploading, they wouldn't be competing. All right, here we go. Well, we've been doing some really good work here on the NosillaCast. We're learning about vulnerabilities, importance of doing updates, exercising, get those little rings go round and round, diagramming workflows, testing bandwidth to compare routers. I thought it'd be good to take a little break from all this seriousness for something silly. My daughter Lindsay came up with a fun little tip for us, and I asked her, what problem does it solve? And she said, it's fun. All right, here's the tip. When you go into your contacts on iOS, and I'm sure there's an analog to this on Android and Windows Phone, there's a favorites list. On her phone, there's an emoji next to each person's name. For example, her husband Nolan has a heart next to his name. My name has a computer next to it, and her brother Kyle has the poop emoji. Well, that's how those kinds of things go, right? Well, I asked her how she did it. She explained that you simply open each contact and edit the last name field and add a space and then the emoji using the keyboard. How easy is that? I went through it on my phone and I gave Steve a smiley face with sunglasses. Lindsay looks like an angel, and Kyle has a smirking face because that's who he is. Oh, and my favorite pizza parlor, Giorgio's, has a pizza emoji. It's fun to look at, and there's some other side effects. When Lindsay calls me using Siri, she says, call Allison Sheridan. Siri says, calling Allison Sheridan computer, because I have a computer emoji. Anyway, I bet it's even more fun when she calls her brother, right? When you get emails from the people you've given emoji, it also shows in there too. So go take a break from all the seriousness and have some fun with your contacts. All right. Steve's talking about Venus and Jupiter, huh? I didn't get to see it because I was driving. I was the designated driver last night while we were having fun. All right.
You know, we can still see that tonight. It's not like they're all of a sudden separated. They're still pretty close. They just aren't at their minimum. So we should check it out about a half hour after sunset.
Good. I saw a calendar invite. I got kind of excited about that. Hey, why wasn't that close to? What happened there? Need some help? Let me know. Steve and I had a blast doing it. Well, we've been doing... That's too long. There we go. Get some banging here. That wind. Hang on a second. I'm going to close this window. I think we normally keep that one closed, don't we, Steve?
Yeah, I think we do.
All right. It's time to make fun of Mark Pauly. Remember him? He used to come to the live show. Uh-oh. I roused Tesla. Yeah, she looks like she's out of control now.
Yeah, watch out for her, man. She's about to jump up and do something.
All right, here we go. Before I met Mark Pauly, I was content with taking photos, editing them on the computer, and displaying them online. But Mark started encouraging me to get some of them printed in large format. He's trying to drag me into his madness because his house is full of large prints of his photos. But it did kind of sound like fun. A few years ago, I successfully captured the beauty of some California poppies during a trip to the Santa Barbara County. If you haven't ever seen these, they're gorgeous, bright orange flowers that adorn our local area in the spring each year. Mark kept nagging me to get this photo printed. This particular photo stands out because of the exquisite light coming through the blooms. I was proud of this photo because I actually crawled under these little blossoms just to catch that light. In thinking about how to print a photo where light is so important, I decided to try printing on glass. I chose to print the photo using a service called Fracture from fracture.me.com. When I printed the photo, it was really expensive compared to the other types of prints, but the advantage is that you don't buy a frame or any matting, and again, I was looking for the light. They actually print the photo right on the surface of the glass. I was happy with the result, but since it was so expensive, I only had an 11 by 14 photo printed, and it cost $50 at the time. I just checked, and that size is now $65. I talked about this back in 2013 when I had it done. It's beautiful, but doesn't fill up very much wall space, kind of a little photo, and I wanted some big photos. This spring, when we went to Hawaii, I got an awesome photo of 2 sea turtles underwater taken with a GoPro Hero 3 Black. Again, the photo is all about the light, this time reflecting on the underside of the water's surface. While we were in Hawaii, we went to a photo gallery, and they had some extraordinary images printed on metal. I'm not sure why metal prints bring out the light so well. Perhaps it's maybe the ink is more reflective when it doesn't soak into the canvas or any kind of paper. I went to a well-known printing site called Adorama Pix to check out their prices. I did a lot of messing around with different options. I kept Mark up till the wee hours asking his advice as I worked on it, and I finally selected a 20 by 24 inch metal print that cost me $99. One of the penalties of asking Mark's help is that he was super interested in how well the print was packaged when it arrived. Since I documented it for him, I put it in the show notes for you to see. The print was very well suspended to keep it from getting damaged in transit, but they did it in a way that used very minimal materials. The print came with little wood blocks that help you hang it on the wall. Again, no frame required on the metal print either, and the blocks kind of keep it out away from the wall. It even came with a cute little level with the name Adorama Pix printed right on it. That is a brilliant marketing move. Okay, enough about packaging and pricing. I bet you'd like to know how it looks. Well, it's simply gorgeous. I mounted it in a hallway that has a light overhead, and it actually looks like the light is coming from inside the photo itself. It is fabulous. I was really, really happy. I couldn't be more pleased with how I feel when I look at this image. It's like I'm back underwater swimming with the turtles. I put a photo of it in the show notes, but of course, that's kind of like playing an MP3 of a live concert. A photo of a print can possibly capture how good it looks. If you've been thinking about printing a great image of yours and you'd like to do something a little bit different, check out the metal prints at AdoramaPix.com. Hey, Steve, does you've got yeah, it does say Pix. I think I missed one character here. Hang on.
Mr. Barky McBarkface is back, I think.
Oh, no. Let's see, level. I keep calling it Adoramix. It's Adorama Pix. Send back to the blog. All right. Well, that show wasn't as long as I thought. It's only 27 minutes. I think that's it, right? I finished everything preview. Let's see. I did the activity data, the real world bandwidth test, liven up your contacts, metal versus glass. Well, that's about right. All right, here we go. Well, that's going to wind us up for this week. Do not forget to send in your dumb questions, comments, and suggestions by emailing me at allison@podfeet.com. And you can follow me on Twitter at Podfeet. Check out the NosillaCast Google Plus community over at podfeet.com/Google Plus and our Facebook group at podfeet.com/Facebook. If you want to join in the fun of the live show like Chad did this week for the first time, head on over to podfeet.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic Nosilla castaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. Anybody here? Yes. Hi, NC6979. Who's that? Oh, it's Neil, Jumbo Shrimp.
Neil.
All right.
So gotta tell the story again.
Every time he comes on, I don't know, he was late. He's tardy today. He's got to bring the drinks next time. Neil was the first one to ever write to me about the show back in 2005.
And specifically, 2005? It's kind of significant the timing, right?
Oh, I had faded.
So after about 6 episodes, you pretty much you stopped doing your podcast?
Yep. And he wrote to me and said, "Where's the show?" So you basically owe the whole show to him. .com.
We should call it Neil's podcast.
Hey, Neil, we're coming up on 600 episodes. That's nuts. Who would do that many shows?
Some crazy woman.
Okay, there we go. We can take this one. Outro. Right there. Right there. I'm so excited. I finally figured out how to do this. One of the things I was complaining about with Amadeus Pro is I can't easily slide the outro music to the end of the show. And I finally figured out how to do it. All I do is zoom all the way out and it lets me see the whole thing, slide it, and then zoom all the way back in. It's just like 2 or 3 pluses and minuses to get it done. Let's hear how that goes. See how the intro. There we go. And enthusiastic Nosilla castaways, thanks for listening and stay subscribed. Here we go. Okay, so now we're going to say sound, bounce document to new file. Oh no, I got hiccups. I hate hiccups. You talk, Steve.
I'm talking. Maybe we get Tesla to perform.
Oh dear, I hate the cops.
Oh, it looks like they're gone.
Barky McBarkface?
No, the hiccups.
Oh, don't make me laugh.
So Neil's observing things were a lot different back in 2005.
Yeah, quite a bit.
10, 11 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, it's the live show. Somebody, one of the big podcasters wrote a request out asking people what are their biggest challenges with their podcast. And my answer was to stop trying to do more, that I just have this urge to do more things. I keep thinking, oh, I could do this, I could do this, I could do that. That would be really fun. Hey, I got a request to this. I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I got a request from somebody, the first request ever, saying, how come you don't have a Patreon? I'd like to donate. It's a funny thing. I hate begging for money. It just sounds really bad to go, hey, give me money. Can I have money? But if people want that as a way to support the show, it seems like I shouldn't deny people the ability to do it, right? What do you guys think? Would you guys get sick of hearing about that? I'm curious.
Well, how much would you push it on during the show?
Well, I'd
just
push
mention it once during the show.
It might be the kind of thing where I'd alternate between that and the Amazon affiliate links.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
By the way, I wanted to make a comment earlier, but it didn't seem appropriate. Your color has been changing as you move your hand in and out of the scene. It's going red and yellow. Now pull your hand down. So do you have a setting that you can freeze? Let's
see. Try it again. It's probably something going on with webcam settings.
Can you freeze the color correction? Or just like the focus where you can freeze it?
Well, let's take a look. I've got brightness, contrast, saturation. Yeah, no, I don't think I do.
And it's doing it more than I've ever seen it before. I'm not sure
white
why
balance. Well, I was pretty energetic today. I was flinging my arms around.
You're always flinging your arms.
I've got auto white balance temperature.
But can you lock those?
I can turn that off. Let me turn that off.
Oh, okay. No
auto.
So
now.
Yeah, it's not changing now.
Is that better?
Well, it's a little distracting, I think, to have it change.
Is this good? Okay. George from Tulsa, I dislike Patreon. I really don't want to have to sign up for continuing donation, which is hard to avoid there. Yeah, I do, but I could say I have both, right? Add it to the same time you mentioned an Amazon affiliate link. Okay. Yeah, I mean, PayPal donations are lovely. Those are just fine. Let's see. I tried to do a one-time Patreon, couldn't figure it out. Yeah, there's no need to use it for that because I do have the PayPal button too. Let me update profile.
I think it's good for people who are already in Patreon, and contributing to other podcasts. So it's easier to maybe press a button.
Add it
for
in
that.
there. I mean,
it's not for everyone.
It's the gift that keeps on giving for the podcaster, though. So, I mean, there's certainly advantages to me. And, if people don't want to do it, I'm not going to badger people or anything like that. That's for sure.
Oh, look at Brett's comment. That's a good point.
What's Brett say? A Patreon isn't a bad idea. The concern is that sometimes listeners look for extras or bonus material in exchange for giving money. I'll say, okay, 11 years of free stuff. Now throw me a nickel once in a while. The other thing I'd have to figure out is the cool thing is, well, it wouldn't be cool for NosillaCast listeners, but let me use my buddies at SMR Podcast, for example, use them as an example. You only pay for the shows they actually deliver. So when they took 3 weeks off on vacation and didn't do a show, you didn't pay for those shows. So it sort of feels like that feels better. But of course, since I never miss a show, that doesn't have a big advantage there. So I don't know. Well, it doesn't sound like this would creep you guys out if I added it, though. I don't want anybody feeling guilty either. That's the thing. I don't want and I don't want people donating if they can't afford to.
Yeah, I don't think most people would.
I hope not. I was talking to Tom Merritt about this, and he had somebody who actually donated when they couldn't afford it, gave him a check, and he was like, he sent it back to her. He was like, no, don't do that.
How did he know they couldn't afford
not creepy? The letter that came with it was, and it was like, $23 because that's all she could afford or something like that. And it was like, oh man, no, feed your family, Go do it. That's why I like the Amazon. I don't see a problem if you're adding it versus replacing other messages. Just gives option of their choice. Okay.
Yeah, you wouldn't be replacing anything, right?
Neil says it wouldn't bother me. I'm here once a year. All right, you can be on the once a year payment plan, $0.05 a year, whether you like it or not. Oh yeah, I'd have to figure out how many shows to tie it to, right? Because I'm doing 2 shows a week, 8 shows. I guess I can do it based on that. And then once in a while, I think I have decided not to set the bar as high on Chit Chat. We don't always have a Chit Chat. We missed one when the baby was born. All right. Well, it is 5:56 p.m. I don't want to be. Options are good, Sandy says. Okay. All right. I think Steve should be in charge of setting it up.
Okay.
Another job for Steve.
So if it goes horribly wrong, Nosilla castaways know who to point to.
It's Steve's idea. It's not my fault.
Great.
All right, guys. $23 for DTNS is almost 2 years of support. Yeah, that's actually quite a bit. See? Well, it depends on how much you put. If it was $0.05 a show, yeah, he does a lot of shows, and he does 5 days a week. So.
Oh no! Read
baby,
John's
what,
comment.
Baby?
Oh, John doesn't know.
If you request a credit card to sign into the live show, then I might have a problem.
Hopefully, he wasn't serious.
Yes, Rose, you can always pay me in hugs and kisses. That will always be an acceptable method. Point at Kevin because he's the wingman. What did he do?
If something goes wrong, just deflect to Kevin. He's good at that.
Tom asked for $1 a month. Yeah, that's true. So I guess you do it. I wonder if you do it monthly, how that works. John says no.
So I don't think he's heard about the baby.
Well, wait a minute.
No, it's not our baby specifically. Exactly.
Have I put any? I don't know if I have any public facing photos of him. Why, did you want to see my grandson?
Your first grandson.
Yeah. Lindsay had a baby about
1 month ago.
4 weeks, 1 month ago yesterday. And he came to visit this weekend. Let's see. Let me move Steve out of the way and I'll do this.
He ran with us. Good runner.
Yep. Steve bought him a stroller.
Oh, John says he knows about the baby. He's just.
Oh, he does? He's
on.
just trying to get me to show him. Oh, of course we want to see him. All right. Well, photos takes about an hour to open.
Well, with your 60,000 photos.
Okay. Where's a good one? Where's the best one? This is.
How about the one at the table?
Okay. I'll flip around a little bit. Come on. There we go. All right. I'm going to show photos. Where did photos go? Where is it? Oh, fine. I'll just do my desktop. That's easier than finding it. All right. There's 4BO.
We don't see anything.
Why not?
It's taking a while. I don't know. It's black. Big black screen.
Really? Yeah. Still, Steve?
Yeah. Do you have? Are you sharing the right screen?
Yes, I am.
Still black.
Does anybody see that? Not working here. Huh. That's interesting. Yeah. All right. Let me try a different method. Let's see if I can find photos. Hang on.
And we may have lost your stream. No, it's back. Okay.
Mars Edit, Preview, Pages, Google Hangouts, Podfeed on Board Chat, Moom. No, it's not. That's interesting. It's not giving me a choice of photos.
Can't you just show your screen without being
app
specific?
That's what I did. So here's my screen right there.
There it is.
Oh, came up this time?
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Oh, yeah. They still want to see the sausage maker instead. So there's Forbes.
Forbio. Yeah.
All right. And the one Steve wanted me to show you was that photos is oh, I guess I'm asking a lot of the machine right now. Where is it? This is the one Steve wanted you guys to see. This was Forbes playing poker. Oh, come on.
You may be stressing your machine right now.
I guess, but
there's
Forbes playing poker.
Yeah, Texas Hold'em. He's got a poker face you'd never encountered before, and he takes his milk neat.
Nice, Steve. Let's see what they're saying. Allison doesn't look too happy, right? Oh, Nessa John says I like 4BO.
4BO, yeah.
4BO, that's excellent.
Little Star Wars reference, maybe.
All right, and then Steve's. We'll do one more, and then I'll let you go. I'm holding you after class. Oh, it's 5:00. Here we are, about to go for a stroll. I should show him the picture you sleeping there. There we go.
Yeah, he's sleepwalking.
Right. Well, that's enough torture for this one time.
Back to your face.
All right, back to my face, and I'm going to let you guys go. It is 6:00. Thank you very much for coming. Nice to meet you, Chad. Is Chad still here? Yes, Big Chad is still here. Nice to have you come once a year, whether you like it or not, Neil. And I think I'm going to call it. All right. Say goodbye, Steve.
Goodbye, Gracie.